Hey guys, this is Nostalgia. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how I do shop runs. Sounds kind of silly. Kind of because, well, I mean, it isn't really. Shop runs are probably the most effective way of getting 320 gloves and a few other items in the game like Jeweler's Halberd or the Whale, and there's probably a few other ones. For example, I want to get a 3-socketed helm with a ton of life on the suffix, so like a jeweler's crown of the whale, something like that. And if I get a helm like that, the idea is I can stick 3 IAS jewels and use that on my Amazon build, my pure charge strike build. So the gear isn't going to take too long to explain. Don't worry about the stats and resistances and so forth, since this is just literally a setup for shopping. I don't even know if I'd really call it a build. This shouldn't take too long to explain. The only thing here that matters is that you have enough strength to wear all of your gear, and the highest requiring piece is just this, Triangle Scales Chaos Armor. It only takes 84 strength, so as long as you have that, you're good to go, really. And you need some dexterity to use the bow. Ideally, this would be in a normal bow, not an exceptional bow like a razor bow, like I have it in. It's not really going to make a huge difference, though, since you have plenty. As long as your character is decently high level, you have plenty of stat points to go around with, or rather, because you don't need any in vitality, and definitely not any in energy. Okay, so Sorceress, as you're surely aware, Sorceress does not get a special advantage in doing shop runs because you can't teleport in town. However, a Paladin does get a special advantage in doing shop runs because he has Vigor Aura as an inherent skill that you can level up. So the only thing in the skill trees that matters is that you max out Vigor Aura. Everything else is just completely irrelevant. Vigor Aura doesn't have any synergies, unless it has hidden ones, which, as far as I'm aware, it doesn't. So briefly, we're going to get into the gear. These gloves aren't relevant at all, actually. So don't worry about these. I'll just stick them in the stash, just for demonstration purposes. Well, actually, I'm using the strength and dex on these. So they actually are relevant in that way, but only because I don't have my stat points set up in such a way. So I'm really only using these for the strength and the dex. Actually, I didn't notice that, but it doesn't really matter anyway because, like I said, you have plenty of stat points to go around. So the way I have my stat points set up, I'm using these for the strength, but it doesn't matter in the long run. It doesn't matter anyway. Um, you're not going to be attacking, so the only thing that makes sense here, also given that a paladin can't like dual wield bows or dual wield bows. You can't dual wield bows in general. Considering a paladin can't dual wield, for example, where are they? I'll show this off. These here. A paladin can't dual wield these Kramet Vomir swords that have 20 faster run walk. However, a paladin can use an edge bow that gives reduced vendor prices by 15%. So, unless you can get some run walk out of your shield somehow, which I'm not aware of a way of doing that, you're just going to want to use an edge bow, and yeah, I mean, unless you have like functionally infinite gold, which as far as doing shop runs are concerned, I mean the edge bow doesn't really make a huge deal. So what you could do if you wanted to, and I'll just show this off also, is you could use a Kranet Vomir if you don't really care about the reduced vendor prices, because when you're doing shop runs, you're only going to buy something every so often. Like I'm not gonna find 320 gloves and Jeweler's Hauberks of the Whale constantly, for example. So I just briefly look through, see if she has something that I want. I go back, I go to the waypoint, and then I just cycle from sewers 2 and back. And then you rinse and repeat, and you do this for a little while until she has something you want. I'm specifically looking for 320 gloves, Lancers, well, Lancers, some sort of gloves of alacrity. Gloves with 3 javelin and spear skills and 20 faster attack speed. Kind of like the LK video, you're going to want to look through her inventory quickly each time, so know what you're looking for. And there's really, other than that, there's not really a lot to say about this, other than why would you do shop runs? I mean, they're probably the most efficient way of getting 320 gloves and Jeweler's Hauberks of the Whale, but I already kind of went over that somewhat. So, ideally, you're going to want to be doing this faster than I am. But that really covers everything. There's not really a lot to say about this. I mean, the more faster run walk, the better. Obviously, you're using all of this. If I'm not mistaken, there's no cap on faster run walk. Oh yeah, let me just show off the rest of the gear. So any boots that have 40 faster run walk are great. My Vanna's belt for 20 faster run walk. Trang's armor gives 40 faster run walk. The sword, Kranet Vamir, unless you want the reduced vendor prices from Edge. A Cat's Eye gives 30 faster run walk. And a Circlet of Speed gives 30 fast run walk. And also I have a bunch of 30 fast run walk charms. What you could do is you could completely fill your inventory with these 3 faster run walk charms and then put few of them back whenever Farah happens to be selling something that you really want to buy. Whatever that might be. And the Geeds is just the reduced vendor prices. I'm using this Anelius for the attributes, although it doesn't really matter, again, because like I said, there's plenty of stat points to go around. So ideally, you would just have your stat points allocated so that you don't need this plus attributes to hit enough to wear the Trang armor, so that you can have all your inventory space open for 3 fast run walk charms, unless you want the Geeds for the reduced vendor prices. So it's really simple, unlike almost any other setup you're going to have on your character in the game. This is a non-combat oriented setup, a pacifist setup if you like, but not in the traditional sense, not what you would normally think of, not how the term is normally used in terms of a build in this game. Okay guys, so I hope you enjoyed that. Have a good one.